Erin here. I wanted to finish putting together this card with you today about this card. I've assembled some stuff, but it is nowhere anywhere near done. So I'm going to tear this apart. I always like doing this with my cards, is cutting things out. Nothing is glued down. Everything is loose. And seeing how I like it. And then I'm going to show you some of the techniques and parts that I used to cut this up to speed the video along. So this goes this batch. And let me just kind of pull these pieces apart. And I will show you where they came from. I also like to do is take a picture of the cards and stuff once I get them all laid out, so I'm not going, where did I put that? So as you can tell, there's not that many, well, there is some pieces to it, but it's not super, super technical here. Okay, so starting with the base. The base is a canvas core card, and it's ivory with the burlap, and it's already stitched. And I love this card because it's like it's already pretty much halfway started for you. I then took and I cut it so that you could see the stitching. So if you look right here, you can see the stitching, and I didn't want to hide that because I feel that that's part of the card. And so I didn't want to make this so it was just barely. So I cut just inside. And to measure that, what does that measure to be? Measure it to be, so it's 5 inches by 3 1/4. So it's 5 by 3 1/4. The full card measures a 5 by 7. So this is a 5 by 7 card, and they come in a pack of 6 from Canvas Core, and they come with envelopes. So it's a pretty cool little pack to get. They also have another one that is canvas that's on the front, and that's a really cool one. And so it's a craft back with a canvas front, so it's kind of a reverse color. So anyway, I cut out the ribbon stripe, and this is pink. This is the section, but it's pink stripe on, or pink and ivory ribbon stripe. As you can see right here, I cut part of it off, but here it is. And I'm just going to ink it. You know what? I'm actually going to make this really shabby. So I'm just going to distress the edge, and I'm going to do this just a teeny bit, just to really shab this thing up for you, and just lightly. For some reason, doing the distress just really kind of sets it off. And then I ink everything. So I'm just going to go back in here, really set that off. If you want to do this in, now I'm doing colors of silver and white and pink on this one. And I'm just using a little, this one is Old Rose. I don't know if you can see that really well. No, can't see that. The camera's trying to find it. It's not finding it. There it goes, Old Rose. I had to take out from behind. So it's Old Rose. Now, when I glue the paper to the canvas, I actually like to use my wet glue, because the dry glue, or just a tape runner, is going to have a hard time sticking, and my husband walked off with my glue. One sec. So I like using my Beacon 3-in-1. It's pretty much my go-to for just about everything glue. He's making my son's rocket for Cub Scouts for the Rockathon, and he's using this glue to help assemble the pieces. He keeps trying to use his other glue, and I'm like, honey, you need to try this. It's awesome. And he tried it once, and he keeps stealing it from me now. I need to get him his own bottle. All right, so I've got this glued down, and it'll dry. It's pretty tacky. I mean, it's already enough so that it won't even fall off. So I love this glue that it's got kind of a tacky feel to it. The next layer that I'm going to show you is this doily. It's actually kind of plasticky, and what it came from was here. I just cut it out. This was some of the Prima flowers. I actually didn't end up using this flower set. I had pulled a different set of flowers, didn't like the look of them, but I had this out, so I just yanked the flowers off, cleaned it off, and cut this baby out. And I'm just going to lay it right here just as kind of a fun design. So again, I don't know if there's one side that's better than the other. I think I'm going to put this side, because this is the side that tends to scratch off. I'll show you. It just kind of scratches off a little bit. So I'm going to put that side down so it doesn't scratch, because this side won't scratch. So it'll be easier to prevent it from having problems in the future. And I just smear the glue on and throw it down. Okay, so my next layer is this piece. Now this piece was an entire section. Actually, I think it went here. Yeah, it went like this. I did snip a little extra because when I cut it, or it might have gone like that. There you go. There's the piece. It's a full 12 inches long, but it was, when I cut the 3 sections, I wanted it to look like lace. It was a tiny bit, so I did snip an extra off. And this comes from Creative Embellishments, and I really like the look. It looks like a piece of lace. So I'm going to layer this up along here. Now, before I do all this mess, I love just kind of giving my cards just a full ink job here. And you know what? I also forgot to do another step. Of course, when I'm doing the video, I forget to do pieces. I want to add a little bit, and of course, I'm going to probably have to be careful. This is another stamp from Creative Embellishments, and I just wanted to add a little bit of kind of a frayed texture to the edge. So I'm just going to ink some of the edges, and I'm just going to lightly kind of go in and add some, just a little bit of texture, just around the edge, just a hint of, what did she just do there? Again, notice I'm not even using a stamp block. I'm just kind of adding, because this is so plain, I want to add a little bit of dimension, but not a lot. So I'm just kind of going in. It may not be super obvious what I'm doing here until I bring it up. And then we're going to do another layer of dimension. Here it goes. Just a little bit. And it's okay if it goes onto here. You could probably use a darker ink, but again, I want a very subtle color going on. And if I need more, just keep on adding more. Sorry if the camera's bopping around. It's on a stand above me and it's attached to the table. And so every time I do something, it tends to wiggle. So just a little bit of hint, well, a little bit more up there. There we go. So just something. So it's just got a little bit of something kind of going on the edges there. Nothing big. Just a little bit of texture. And this is a stamp from Creative Embellishments. I think it's called the frayed burlap, which makes sense. It looks like frayed burlap. But I will link it in the video. So now the last thing I'm going to do to also add texture is I like to just take my paint, which I'm going to move the things out of the way so you can't tell they're there. And I'm going to open up this and just splat. And just add a little bit of dimension to the card. That's it. Not much. And just kind of leave it there. I'm going to take a towel. I'm going to take a wipe, actually. Just clean my work surface off. And this is just a dry wipe. It's not even wet anymore. The package has been open so long. And just clean up. And then I'm going to go over the plastic here. It's not going to stick to the plastic. If this was a real doily, it would stick, but this is not. Okay, so there's that. Now, what did I use to change this from this to this? I painted it with the Tattered Angels, and this is the Silver High Impact Metallic. This is actually a small bottle that came with a 4-pack kit, but usually bottles are twice the size. And you really have to shake it up, and then you just use a paintbrush. And this is one coat. That's it, one coat. And it's super metallic and super pretty. I did the same thing to the Faith chipboard, which also comes from Creative Embellishments. And you can tell I didn't even bother doing the back. I didn't bother doing the sides because it's going to get laid on here. So let's add a little bit of glue to this guy. And I just rough it on. I'm not super careful with my glue. Again, I probably just plop some on my card here. And just lay it down. See, now the dark splotches that I did kind of match the colors of the silver, so that's why I went with the sterling, or sorry, the graphite, not sterling. This is graphite. So the graphite's got that kind of cool metallic-y silver color to it. And then I'm going to add my cool little, what do they call it? They call them pom-poms. And these are from Dynamite Dies, and I just cut them up. I did it on ivory cardstock, kind of like a beigey looking cardstock, and I just ran them through my Cuttlebug, and I did 2. And I'm just going to pop little centers off here and just do a little bit of light inking. Just a tiny bit. I don't want to overdo it because they're just kind of a background extra. Ooh, that looks kind of like a cool dimension she's got going on. Here, this side. Just a little something something in the back. What has she got going? So just a little light ink just to add some pink hues to it. And because this piece is going to go here, this needs to kind of go off this direction so it doesn't cover it up too much. So that's going to go there. It's okay if it's partly covered, and I like this one kind of coming off here. So I'm going to run these through my Xyron. And I love these little guys because it gets all little nooks and crannies. It makes it really easy to place. I could run my chipboard through here too, but that piece is nice and stiff. These are so delicate that I don't want to, and I just kind of rub it down. I don't want to break these by adding glue, and then it gets kind of messy. And sometimes there's lots of little, you know, fussy cut pieces in them. They're so intricate. This has got a little more stability to it because it's chipboard. But again, you could easily use your chipboard too through your little Xyron. It's a 3-inch sticker maker. That's what that is. So cut this out. Not cut this out. Sorry, pull it off. And it's got sticky back to it. Super simple. And I just kind of get rid of what I call little cobwebs. Just kind of pull so it doesn't look like it's got sticky. And I'm going to lay it. I leave that there just as my guide. And then just overlap. And it's okay if it's not full. Like, I'm not liking that popping around. So I'm just going to add a little bit more wet glue and hold it. Same with down here. I guess I didn't add enough. And see, it's already holding down. A little more here. Just hold it for a couple of seconds. Yeah, and I'm not too worried if this goes a little bit over the card. When you get kind of big, bulkier cards like this, you have to kind of let go with that. It's a little bit out of the space range, and you know, I don't know if you're going to mail these cards anyway. They're probably going to be hand delivered, and I wouldn't even really fully close the card, or maybe just leave the card loose in a present so it doesn't get smushed. I've seen people, and I'll show you this trick at the very end, how you could mail these cards. Because I get asked that quite a bit. How do you mail these cards if you're going to? Number one, you don't put them in a regular envelope. All right, so I like the way that looks. Now to arrange my flowers. And I don't want this flower sticking, so I'm going to have this one come out this way. And I always like the rule of 3 and kind of arranging and tucking like that. Now I pulled this out. This one I got at Recollections years ago, so that would be Michael's. And I want to see if I want to add some fun swirlies, and I think I do. So I'm going to get my scissors, and I got to put these down before I put my flowers, but I need to have the flowers down as my guide. And I cut these apart. I do not leave them. And then I just see, so it's on the plastic still, and then I lay it. I'm like, ooh, do I like it there? Do I like that piece there? Yeah, I kind of do. And then let's add this fun filigree one up top. Notice I didn't even use the entire thing for the card, or not yet. I may have a use for the end, the rest of it. How does this one feel up there? Feels a little big. Maybe if I reverse them. See, this is why I don't glue the flowers down. So if I stick this one up here, because it's getting, if there's, with the word up there, I have to be careful about how much that little guy down there is bugging me. And I want to show off all the pieces. Let's see how that feels with the flowers. You always have to add the elements back in so you can kind of get a feel for what it looks like. And don't worry, we're still going to add some pretty lace, and we're going to add my little fuzz balls back in. How do I like my faith in there? I play a lot with my cards, and I hum and haw. Before I started the video, to get the base of the idea of the card down, I did a lot of humming and hawing and adding. I like that. Okay, so I'm just going to unstick this guy and pop it down. Very pretty. Unstick this guy and plop it down. You know, seriously, you know how long I've had this really pretty pink swirl? I've had it for probably 3 years, knowing I want to use it, and I've never had the right time to use it. Guess what? I found the perfect project. This is why we hoard our stuff, because we're like, oh, we're going to use it at some point, and then we never, and then we finally use something we've hung on to for years, and it's like, see, that's why I kept it for so long. All right. I think I like that. Sorry if you heard my phone buzz. I use my phone. That's what I'm making my videos off of. So if it buzzes, I'm sorry. Cool, I like that. All right, now, these fuzzy things, how did I get those? So I took the Canvas Core hot pink rope, and then I pulled it apart, just like this. Pulled a strand, and then I started just pulling the strand apart like this. And I've done this for some of the other cards that I've done recently. I did one in blue and I did one in yellow, and it just creates kind of a cool fuzzy texture to it. And I just kind of ball it up, and then I just, if it's too much, I'll take some away. And you just kind of plop it in there. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue my flowers down. And then we're going to do this smushing technique, where we're going to smush it into the corners and caddies of where we feel it has a gap, where we need to add a little bit of oomph to our card. So, and notice I'm going vertically here, and then I'm adding this to the center. So the cluster's in the center. We have a vertical action with lots of layers, so adds lots of interest and dimension. And then our title, which I'm going to go ahead and glue down, is going horizontally. So you don't just have a purely vertical card. You've got interest going both horizontal and vertical. And I love layers, because layers, if you don't have layers, this is just my personal opinion, and simple cards are great, don't get me wrong. I have a hard time because I'm like, I want to add more stuff. I love stuff. I love adding things to this. So, but if you add layers, it adds more interest, and it just adds more depth and just kind of a cool feeling. Now, as I was playing with this, some of the little fibers got caught on here, and you know, I'm fine with that. It just adds, again, more interest. So I'm going to take the fuzzies now. I call them fuzzies. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue in here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do my lace first. So this is by 7 Gypsies, which is also a Canvas Core brand, or Canvas Home Basics. Yeah, Canvas Core brand. This is technically Canvas Home Basics. The paper is Canvas Home Basics. These paints are Tattered Angels. And this is 7 Gypsies. They're all under the big umbrella of Canvas Core. And I'm just going to take a little snippet of the lace, and I'm going to just smush it, and we're going to tuck it like that, just so it kind of peeks out, just like that. So I'm going to put the glue here so I have something to cling to. And if you want to, there's one of two things. Oh, give me 1 second, let me grab it. Shout out to my friend Jennifer. She showed me these awesome little things. I was at a retreat with her, and it's Jennifer Snyder. And she works with Prima as well, and she's on a couple other design teams. Makes beautiful things, and she's like, use this to help tuck and fold. And so she also uses her skewers for other things, and she might have mentioned that on her blog. I don't remember seeing it, but it could be there. And she just uses it to help stuff things under. I don't want to stuff too much because I want to see the lace, but it's just a hint. That's all it is a hint. I'm going to cut another one. I think I'm going to tuck a little piece in there. And you don't need much, because you're folding it. Ugh, my scissors are sticky. Time to clean them. I want to tuck a little piece in there. Then I'm going to go in and put some fuzzies in. So just kind of stick it in and then smush it. And these are just your basic bamboo screws that you would use for cooking. You could also use your, if you've got a like a poker or some sort of, you know, long stick-like object. So just a little bit of something. Let me pull it out a tiny bit more. Just a little something. And then I'm going to come in and add a little bit of fuzzy layer on top of that. Not too much. I might do the small one here. Just add a little bit of glue on top of that. And add a fuzz ball. And again, you're not looking for perfection. The shabby chic is you're trying to create shabbiness. And the shabby makes it look pretty. I'm going to add a little bit in here. Use my little pokers so my fingers don't get all sticky. If you want to tuck it under, I'm going to tuck this under. Now, if you feel like it needs a haircut, because it's sticking off too much, just give it a haircut. And then it's not so long and strenuous. So I need a little bit more on this side. There's always the rule of threes. You want to have either pairs. Pairs looks good, but if you notice, I'm doing lots of threes. So I did pairs of this, pairs here, a single pair of this. I did a pair of this, but now I need the flowers and this, I feel like it needs a 3. Something about threes, or having an odd number, because when this all adds up, it should be an odd number of items on this page. It looks more pleasing to our eye. When you don't, it makes it look funny to us. Now I think I need some down here. So I may end up adding 2 more, so I'm not getting out of my odd number routine. Again, tucking it in, adding a little little bit, making sure my flower's not poking up too much. I think I'm going to add a tiny bit up top. Might add a bit more. Again, just a teeny bit. Don't need to overdo the amount of fuzzy. It's just a hint. As my glue is everywhere. Might do a bit more up there. And there it is. Look how cool is that? And there's our cool little card. You just kind of play and tuck, and did some painting ahead of time so it would speed up the process. You're not watching paint dry. So how boring is that? And there is our beautiful card. Now here's the trick I was going to tell you about. If you wanted to mail this to somebody, you want to be careful about the smushing factor. I've seen people take cards and invert them like this. So they're actually writing on, you would write here, but when they mail it, they flip it. So this, and then they put it inside a padded envelope. So this gets protected and not by the card. And this is just the back of the cards. It's not a big deal, but they fold it and they mail it like this. And the writing they've done is right here. So you're not, when you open up the package, you're not seeing the card like this. You're seeing it with the writing first, and you open up and go, oh, how pretty. So anyway, it's my beautiful card. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Come back for more. I've always got lots of fun tips and tricks and ideas. And please subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye.